Hello and welcome to my channel. So today we're unboxing an Immersion blender that hubby got me, and I'm going to use this to color my buttercream. And if you're not a baker and you're wondering how does this color your buttercream, it helps brighten and in some cases deepen and darken the color of your buttercream by using friction or heat, or the heat that friction causes. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just me, but long time we used to call this stick blenders, and it came as one thing, not in parts. And I guess I knew that this was a method bakers used. I've known all along because I'm always doing research. But I guess I was just in my head where I'm like, this was just a replacement for swizzle sticks. If you're from the Caribbean, I'm just so accustomed being like, okay, this is something that you use to blend callaloo straight in the pot or dal or split peas. And I just couldn't take my mind off of that being the use. So I sell buttercream, my own brand called Buttercreams with a K. And I wanted to start selling colored buttercream, but I wanted to make sure that the colors were popping. And one way to do that is to add some heat to it. So there's something called the microwave method and the double broiler method, where you melt some of the buttercream, put it back into itself, and then you'd have to let that cool and then re-whip it again. And that was a process that was a little too tedious. Now, if I were making like cakes and this one particular cake needed that color, fine, no problem. I would prepare for that. But when you're selling an item that moves very quickly, you need the process to be as quick and efficient as possible. And I didn't want to have to go through that. Now, using the immersion blender, it allows me to get that heat, and I'm able to use the buttercream right after because it holds its consistency and stability. Yeah. You may have to put it in the fridge for like a little while, but it's not as long as if I had to use the microwave method or the double broiler method. And so I started with 1 tub of my buttercream, which is 32 ounces or 600 grams. And I just wanted to see how much coloring I would have to add. And I think I added like a tablespoon of the super red here. And as I was using it, I could see like where the blade was touching. I was already starting to see the difference. And before I started to blend it, I did take out like a little bit just so I could use it as a swatch to see the difference. And so I wanted to mix it around, and I really was seeing the difference right away. But what I was also seeing was that it was deflating. Now, I did do my research before this, like, I needed to know what was the scientific, reaction happening here. And it was basically that the blade would break down all of the molecules, the fat, sugar, water, whatever. It breaks down all of the molecules to the same level so that everything can come together well. Like everything will just click. That's the best way I can explain it. And so you're going to end up with less buttercream than you started with, because when you're making buttercream, right, you do have to incorporate a lot of air to get it nice and fluffy. The emulsion blender simply takes that air out. So you are going to end up with less, but that's like one downside that I can't deal with. I just need to figure out how would that work for me. So I did end up adding one other tub to this. So this is two of my tubs of buttercreams to see how it would work. I felt like it was like it had like a little pinkish hue. So I did end up adding a little more of the coloring, But I was trying to be cautious as well because I didn't want the buttercream to have that bitter taste that putting too much coloring can leave in your mouth after. So I was like, okay, this is red, but I want to push it some more and see. So I just kept going. And I would say using a shallow bowl is the best for this, where you could sort of spread out the buttercream and yeah, don't use like a full bowl. If you have a lot of buttercream to color, I want to try this same method using like a food processor. I would say probably use that if you have like a huge quantity of buttercream to get down. But that is something I need to test for myself and how well does the consistency hold up right after, because I like to package my buttercream as soon as the I don't want to play the waiting game for too long. So I found like this was really, really, really red. And I'm like, wow. And I even left this out overnight and it didn't even like sweat or anything like that. Um, some of my bakers would know what I'm speaking about, where the coloring will start to come through. None of that happened. It actually got a little darker, and I do have a video where I decorated my faux cake with this, and I absolutely loved it. And this was 10 out of 10 for me, and I found the method that I would use. So here I was just filling up my piping bags to get ready, and I will show you guys in another video how I use this buttercream to decorate. Like this looked like lipstick. I was really in shock, in awe, and I was really impressed, and I cannot wait to try some other colors with it. It was definitely worth the purchase. I just I don't think this will be wise to do like a huge quantity, so I will try to get the food processor and see how that works for larger quantities. Once I have clients that are willing to purchase the colored buttercream, but we'll see how that goes. So I love how it kept the consistency of the buttercream. It was still wholesome, it was ready to pipe. I would advise chilling it for a little while though, and then like look at that. I couldn't stop playing with this. I really couldn't. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.